You've had a busy week. Thanks very much for coming to Linaro Connect.
Happy to be here.
And really pleased that we're a member of the Linux Foundation.
And vice versa.
And vice versa. It's
Yep.
great. Thank you. And I'm just wondering if you've got any comments on kind of the state of Linux and Linaro and contributions that we're making for ARM, and get you some comments on that.
So as you know, Linux is doing great. I mean, you know, what perhaps was hyperbole maybe 10 years ago is now reality, and that Linux is running most of modern society.
Yeah.
And Linux is on the cutting edge of almost every new sector in tech, right? And wearable devices and IoT and all these cloud computing things, you know, and all the buzzword worthy categories of computing. Linux is really on the leading edge of that. And increasingly, the ARM ecosystem is on the leading edge of those categories of computing as well. And Linaro, working on behalf of that ecosystem, has done tremendous work. I just checked yesterday, and Linaro is a top 5 contributor to the Linux kernel and making a real strategic impact on making sure that Linux and all of the wonderful experiences that run on Linux are optimized for all of the silicon vendors who are participating in Linaro. So that's a huge impact, and obviously something that no single entity could do on their own. So it's had a big impact.
So there are an increasing number of collaborative initiatives going on in our industry, whether it's in mobile, whether it's the kind of things that Linaro is doing, Open Daylight in the networking space, and you're hosting a number of them in the Linux Foundation. And I kind of worry, are we moving to an era where there's going to be collaboration fatigue, or is this more the way of the future?
That's a great question. So why are there so many of these organizations, and are people going to get sick of them at some point? But the thing about collaborating, the thing about sharing, the thing about working together and innovating together is that it's addictive. But it's not addictive just in the sense of accomplishment that I think developers have, creating new ideas and sharing innovative thoughts. It's addictive from a business perspective. The fact of the matter is that there are more and more lines of code in any kind of product or service that touches people today, whether it's your car or a home appliance, or ever increasing services enabled over the internet. It's just more and more software. And the world has recognized, and the result is all of these different large-scale collaborative projects and organizations like Linaro that are developing the underlying technology together as opposed to developing them by themselves. And what I think you're seeing is that the business benefit is people can share an underlying non-differentiating code, building it together, and focus on that, let's say 20% of a code base, 80% being open source and developed collectively, but that 20% that really makes their product or service different. I think that's a permanent fixture in the technology industry. Linux, as example, changes 9 times an hour. I don't know a single company in the tech sector that is maintaining a code base, nor wants to maintain a code base that is developing at that pace and with such stability and scale. And so get used to this landscape, because I think it's going to continue for a long time.
I completely agree, and thank you very much. Thanks for your time.